Released April 7th, 2022 by developer Corpus and publisher Bonus Stage Publishing on PC with a planned later 2022 release on the Switch, Janitor Bleeds is an incredibly well-made, retro-inspired PS1-looking horror game that's 90% walking sim, 10% first-person shooter, and 100% high-quality entertainment. I previewed the demo a while back, and I'm glad one of my favorite indie publishers kept me on their whitelist. Thanks to Bonus Stage Publishing for the review key. Let me get started with the story. Janitor Bleeds has no voice acting, no text popping up filling you in on what's going on. Instead, the story starts out in a way that reminds me a lot of this new series on epics I've been watching recently. From, starring the immensely talented Harold Perrineau, with the whole eerie town tree blocking your path vibe, as well as a Silent Hill feel. A combination made in heaven, or hell, depending on how you look at it. So, your car crashes, you step out looking for help, stumble onto this tent on the side of the road where you find an ominous letter and a flashlight. You make your way to the town, where you find this abandoned game arcade. You go inside, and down a rabbit hole you may or may never exit. Other parts of the story is told through these notes strewn about the game. That basically boils down to, this arcade was struggling to stay afloat. The owner was then sent a mysterious offer to get an arcade game called Janitor. Once they got the cabinet, business boomed for a while, but for a very sinister reason. This review, as the disclaimer at the start suggests, has spoilers, but I won't spoil any more of the story for you regardless. It's a really good story if you're into this kind of thing. From is one of the best new series I've seen in a long time, and I love the first couple Silent Hill games, so yeah. I'm into this kind of thing. The visuals are high-quality PS1 styled graphics. I've been playing games for decades. I even own a decent collection, so this means I'm into retro games, but not on a hardcore level. I'm not the kind of person who goes out looking for PS1 era or 8 to 16-bit visuals. It's not my favorite thing, but once executed well, I'm in, regardless of the graphic style. And here in Janitor Bleeds, just about everything has been executed well, retro visuals and all. If Corpus released a VR version of this, I'd be all over that as well. When the game starts up, the devs recommended brightness settings, however, it did not work for me. I get the creepy, can't see more than 2 feet in front of you vibe they're going for, but no, when the game just started out, I almost rage quitted because of how dark it was. I couldn't tell my ass from my elbow. It took me what felt like an eternity to find the flashlight, but once I got past that, all was gravy. The good times rolled. The sound design gets another thumbs up. Everything in this department was on fire. The score is amazing, just what I needed to get lost in this creepy world. The ambient sounds kept the atmosphere's spooky factor turned up to the nth degree, and the sound effects were sharp as a tack. The game, Janitor. It has this theme music that plays every time it's nearby. I like it, but it has this infectious thing about it. Long after the credits roll, you'll be hearing it play in your head. All of this is best experienced with headphones or a surround system. Corpus held it together so far, and most certainly did not drop the ball in the gameplay department. Janitor Bleeds is about a cursed arcade cabinet. Once you play it, it literally draws you in, and what you do in-game affects what happens in the real world around you. You'll attach things to the side of the cabinet that will become a part of the game, as well as basically 3D print objects found in-game. Pretty interesting mechanic. I won't take the risk of saying it's original, but I'll say this much, I don't recall doing this in any other game I've ever played before. Once you've entered the arcade, other than the world changing around you as you proceed, you'll have to find tokens to play the game when it pops up. And through your interactions in-game, you'll solve the light puzzles presented. Another element of Janitor Bleeds that kept me going. The devs clearly want you to succeed. One may argue, all games are created with your overall success in mind. Well, I beg to differ. There's some games out there, games I've played, that were clearly created to piss you off, drive you up a wall, and dare you to continue. Not here. The puzzles are my kind of puzzles. Not too easy, but no hair pullers. Janitor Bleeds is a well-paced game. There was only one point where I got frustrated. Well, two really, as the load times are abysmal. This I don't get. This game isn't exactly a graphical powerhouse by any stretch, but I digress. There was really only one puzzle that made no sense to me, which involved using the flashlight to clear an area blocked by some planks. But other than that, this game was perfectly paced. The controls are tight and can be adjusted as needed. Both the controls and the inventory system had a dated feel to them, but no love lost. This was consistent with a retro feel and a clear design choice, as it's not like they were broken, just a best of the 90s feel to them, that's all. Janitor Bleeds is pretty much a walking sim. All you do really, other than the interactions between the game and the real world, is try not to get caught by this sinister entity roaming the arcades. While you work on getting the hell out, there's this thing. It looks like a mix between something in the Janitor game and reality. Well designed and creepy as all hell. You play a game of tag with it, much like Nemesis in RE3. It's not until closer to game's end that you get two pistols to help yourself and exact some well-deserved revenge. So far, I know about two endings for this game. I only played through it once, but I read where there's a good and bad ending. I got the good ending, and this works fine for me, as replaying games, even ones as good as Janitor Bleeds, isn't my thing. Words to the wise. Get all the teddy bears. If you stick it out and reach to this point, where you're given one last chance to search the arcade, go back and find the bears. No one wants an unhappy ending, right? Just do it. Janitor Bleeds is one well-designed horror game by a clearly talented indie team. I enjoyed the demo, and the full release did not disappoint. It actually exceeded my expectations. I'm not a big fan of puzzle games. I got burnt out on them in the 90s and early 2000s, so I won't sit here acting like I was eagerly awaiting the full game. But like I said, Bonus Stage hooked me up, and I'm grateful. This was worth the time. I also love the way the demo was designed in comparison to the full release. It's like the demo wasn't created from just a tiny bit of the actual game. The demo was like a standalone experience with the sole purpose of building hype for the full release. I thought I might have been able to continue from where I left off with the demo, but no. Not saying the demo was misleading, I'm saying it was uniquely designed. I'll leave a link to the full game on Steam in the description. Feel free to check out the demo first to see if it floats your boat, but just know, if you jump in head first, you won't be disappointed. I give Janitor Bleeds my stamp of approval. Indie retro-styled excellence. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let's say I found a way to piss you off though, then hey, the hate buttons are at your beck and call. Either way, I won't hold it against you. Our game is never over.